Well, 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 look who's back in town. It's
It's
Groz with gas. It's take five. It's the happy national champion, Mike Gastineau, and his feckless partner.
Hey,
Hey,
and
buddy.
I only and I only bring this up because I think you're going to like the punchline of this story. We usually we drop, as the kids say, on Monday, but I was busy Monday going to a national championship game, and then we were going to drop on Tuesday, but I was busy flying all day, and then Wednesday and Thursday. And I just bring this up because it'll set up the best part of the story. Wednesday and Thursday, Dave was a little under the weather, so we just couldn't do it. But the prevailing opinion online was, oh, they can't do it because Gas is still drunk from the national championship game, which was not true, but it's not an outrageous supposition on anybody's part. So
not true, though, but, I appreciate you hanging and waiting for me. But, yeah, it could have been the case, man. You had a great time and for good reason.
I don't even want more to say about it. We've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
What's become neat for me is that everyone kind of sees this really is a pretty spectacular story, and people are saying might be the greatest story in college football history. It's one of the greatest in sports history, and I think all that's true. And it was fun to be there Monday night. It was excruciating. I've always told you, Dave, if life's betting window let you watch the first couple minutes of a game, I don't know if I'd ever get a bet wrong. And I went into that just betting with my heart and going, I don't want to root for Miami in any way, shape, or form, so I'll take Indiana and lay the points. 3 minutes into the game, I'm like, all right, there's two things here. A, we're not covering tonight, and B, they're the fastest team we have seen. I mean, that jumped out at me right away. They are just, and it's not like Ohio State or Alabama or Oregon were lousy, even though we beat the last two pretty convincingly. They're good teams. Miami right away, I'm like, oh, man, that speed is going to be an issue. And then they're going to play Miami-style football, which means physical, pushing the rules, seeing what you can get away with, and they did that. I thought an underrated thing that Cignetti and his staff did, at least it appears they did, was tell guys, don't retaliate. You swing second, you're going to get caught. Just understand they're going to take some cheap shots. That's how they've always played. But it was and I'll ask you, and I know the answer, I think, but it was an epic game from my standpoint. I'm sure it was pretty fun to watch, even if you didn't quite have the dog in the hunt that I had.
Oh, it was a great game. It was absolutely a great game, and it had, what great games require, which is great players playing great. I mean, you got everyone else coming in, and, you got to have all that, but you need to have the quintessential moment of the game needs to be a star. Maybe not arriving on the scene, but showing you why he's a star, and that's exactly what Indiana's quarterback did. Made a play, that won the game, and you can really honestly say that one play was the key to the game. Going for it on fourth down, which was a great call, I thought, and something the team never did. Really didn't do the course of the year, and he made Fernando made the play. So, I thought it was just a terrific, fantastic game. Miami played very well, very good. Indiana, I think, they probably had a little bit of nerves going on there because they don't have a lot of experience in this circumstance, but it was terrific. It was just terrific, and it was a great finish. And had a great moment for college football. That shot of him going across the goal line is going to make a nice statue outside that stadium one of these days.
The other statue they could make is of my wife, Renee, who, she's become a fan, not to my level, but she's kind of a fan of Indiana. Two reasons. One, she's a JMU alum, so she always is ragging me on, they stole my football team to be good. But she also has watched me watch this team for 30 years and just watched them, week after week, with 3 minutes to go, be in great shape and then blow a double-digit lead. I mean, just, ridiculous stuff. Mendoza's run happened our tickets were in the fifth row of the third deck at the 10-yard line. So we had an incredible view of that play. And he dives in the end zone. Everybody's jumping. And I'm hugging Renee. And she goes, what the F just happened? I mean, because it really, again, it was almost even with everything they've done this year. It's the kind of play you don't expect to see them make. And happy ending to a fairy tale season. And, it's funny. People are talking, what does it mean? The two things that come to my mind of what it might have. Hey, I think it's a once in a lifetime thing. Not that they couldn't win the championship again, but it'll never be quite like this again.
No.
I wonder, and you can laugh at this a little, but I wonder if part of the impact of this will be coordinators who are really good at coordinating and like the guy they're working for may think twice about taking another job. Now, there's some guys who are just wired, I want to be a head coach. I get that. But part of Cignetti's success is his defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator have been with him for over 10 years. He likes to joke. He hired them. He was giving them $8,000 a year when he first hired them. And the quote I like from him is, he goes, they've been around me and they know how to manage me when I get in one of my little moods, which you
really see happening.
Yeah, and right. But I think that they looked to see, you know what, I'm going to ride this horse, and I'm going to be I'll be the best coordinator I can be. Not every guy's going to be wired that way, but I wonder if coaches will think twice about jumping. And then I don't know how much coaches put into the recruiting evaluations anyway, but those have certainly been proven to be they're like mock drafts. They're a fun thing for everybody to talk about. They ultimately have, and draft ratings for that matter. Oh, this guy's a 4th round pick. He's not a 3rd round. None of that stuff matters. It's blather and hot air, and you got to go with what you think. And I think most coaches do that. I don't think most coaches go, well, this guy's a 5. We have to get him. You may want to be in on him, but certainly Indiana winning without any of the 5 stars and only a couple of 4 stars, it kind of hopefully makes people realize again that that's all fun stuff for the fans. It doesn't necessarily impact, because guys change between 18 and 22. They change dramatically. So,
well, Indiana might be able to stay good because of Mark Cuban, buddy. You got a sugar daddy who's interested and is active, and that's a key piece to have in place, a real key piece to have in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And they, they've got other guys too. And, again, they're now, and I hope this doesn't go too far, but all of a sudden the last few days I've noticed Indiana fans are like, hey, look at what this person said about us. Like, let that go. It doesn't matter. You're 16-0, man. You can just shake your head and laugh at anybody who doesn't believe. That's fine. Yeah, right. And it's to say it doesn't, a couple of people I was talking to were like, oh, the game day people kept picking against us. I'm like, so?
Yeah, right.
They're entertainers.
I never understood why that mattered.
That's fine. It doesn't impact, were they right? No. Well, then, So anyway, it was something, man. Once in a lifetime. I would compare it for me, Dave. The only stories for me personally, my opinion, that equate to this are Secretariat. He wasn't out of the blue, though. And I was a kid then, so I wasn't following his 2-year-old campaign.
Yeah,
but those who were knew he was going to be pretty good, and then he was unbelievable. Miracle on Ice is the one that really jumps in my mind. 3 weeks before the Miracle on Ice, as you know, they got blasted. Were you at that game, the one they got destroyed?
At the Garden, Madison Square Garden.
Yep. Did they lose 12-2?
It was
something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that, but it could have been 20-0. It could have been 25-2. They call off the dogs.
So that's, and 3 weeks later they beat them and win the whole thing. I would certainly go with the 95 Mariners for, again, in August, just not even a thought, not an afterthought, done, and they get rolling and do it. So that's the level for me it's at in terms of the out of the blue nature of this. So
yeah, for me it was one I could add to that just on my position. Valvano at NC State was it was 2 years after I was working with them and doing their games. That was pretty amazing too. They had no chance in that game and I still can't believe they won it.
I've always, and everybody knows this by now, but I've always told you, I remember clearly in 1983, standing in the Cannery Lounge in Bozeman, Montana. They served these things called frosty beverages, and I'm in there watching the opening night of the NCAA tournament, watching NC State play Pepperdine, I think in Corvallis, Oregon, and I want to say it was triple overtime. It was at least double overtime. And the whole night you're like, oh, NC State's going to get upset. They're not going to get out of the first round, and somehow they do. And then 3 weeks later, look what they're doing. So yeah,
Jim Herrick was their coach, and I think Shane Battle, I want to say, was their great player.
Yeah,
85% free throw shooter who couldn't make him down the stretch. Anyway,
well, the only thing depressing for me is with the Indiana season over now, I just wish I had a football game to look forward to this weekend that mattered and that I thought was going to be good. And and I got my that way back there. I brought that out. I'm trying to live by the Cignetti rule. I'm going to take the Rose Bowl shirt off pretty quick and start thinking about going 1-0 this week. But what a matchup! I told you a few weeks ago this is the matchup I wanted. Oops, sorry about that.
You got it. We got it. It was such an amazing week last week, and the Rams beating Chicago after that play. I was kind of sad to see it. I mean, I think the Rams are definitely the better team than them in Chicago, and these are the two best teams playing. And I just kind of wanted to see that Caleb story continue, to see if he could do that stuff on the road, because he made the biggest. I watch Hard Knocks all the time. I've told you that, and the Bears were the one at the start of last year, so I kind of watched him in his rookie season. Get get going and not really go so well, and then everything has changed there, and then he starts making these great plays for these guys down the stretch, reminding a lot of people of Russell Wilson, and then an impossible play to beat the Rams, except it doesn't. Except it doesn't. The Rams come back and make the play to win it. You got the two best teams, by a mile, I think, playing this weekend. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win the Super Bowl because upsets happen. But in terms of talent right now, these are the two best to play. And I'm still feeling confident about it, Gas. I'm still very confident in the Seahawks this week. I think the difference between them is, and I tweeted out something along these lines, was the Rams are not playing as good as they were playing earlier in the year. I think everyone would concede that. They just have not been as strong as they've been in recent weeks. It kind of started at the end of that Seahawks game where they lost 38-37. On the other hand, the Seahawks are playing their best football right now. They're absolutely at their best right now. So I think that's gonna carry them through. But it's it's going to be exciting, and it's really a lot of tension. I imagine a lot of intensity, but tension, and yet confidence, because I think the new coach and the approach that they have just kind of lends itself to that. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's a great point about the Rams. Also are playing their fifth road game in 6 weeks. Probably doesn't matter, but it's worth noting certainly that they've been road warriors at this point. So on the one hand, you go, they're probably sick of it. On the other hand, you go, it doesn't matter anymore. They don't care where the game is. They just love that they're getting to play. One last thought on Caleb Williams. That play is just so remarkable because when you look at it, and there's the one angle from like the camera right above him, it really doesn't look like there's any way he could have seen the guy there, but he knew where the guy was supposed to be, and he just put he put the ball
in a prayer
right on the nose. The only place it could go where it would work. And my first thought when he did it and then they lost was I thought of Jermaine Kearse, who makes the greatest catch in Super Bowl history, except nobody remembers it because 3 plays later there's the interception and the Patriots win the game. The warrior aspect of these guys when they're involved in a game like that is really something. Do you want to hear some fun with numbers, Groz, for this game? Do you like numbers? Rams and Hawks have played twice this year. Listen to this. The point total, Rams 58, Hawks 57. If we were playing soccer, the aggregate, it's a 1-goal lead for the Rams. Total yards, Rams 830, Hawks 829. Passing yards, 587 to 524 in favor of the Rams. Rushing yards, 306 to 243 in favor of the Hawks. Here's my favorite. The spread. 21-19 first game. Rams win, but Seattle covers because they got 3. Second game, 38-37. Hawks win. LA covers because they got 1.5. I mean, these two, you talk about a piece of paper slipping between. That's about all the difference between them, which is why I remember telling you, I was kind of laughing when Rabel said, I don't want to see the Rams again. And he's probably right, except from the standpoint of seeing a great game. I do want to see him again. And I like Big Ray Roberts has said all along, look, man, we just came out like 2 yards short on a field goal for beating them twice. So shut up about all this Rams are good stuff. So,
well, I think the Rams are good, and he's right, Ray is right about that. But, I kind of feel like you sort of put it there with the 5 games in 5 weeks, not getting that bye. That game is so critical. I mean, that game they played, the Seahawks won by a point. That's the key game of the regular season. We're going to look back on it, I think, when the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl and saying, that was the difference, because you got to play at home, you got a week off, and all these things work out for you. So, we'll see. We've got, we don't need to go through the storyline. Everyone knows what it is. Everyone knows what's on the line. Everyone knows who's got to step up and play good. So they just got to do it. I mean, they just have to do it. I guess the only intrigue left, who's going to raise the flag? Because you don't always raise the flag on championship games, don't you, guys?
Right, Paul Allen, right?
Paul Allen.
Yeah. So maybe Jody
Allen?
I saw people say Marshawn Lynch. It's a shame. It would be great to have Pete do it. Maybe if he hadn't gone to the Raiders this year, there'd be enough separation. But there's got to be probably a little more. But who knows, man?
Right.
And in some ways, it again is worth patting the Seahawks on the back, and our old friend Todd Lywicki, who came up with this crazy idea of raising the flag every game, and now every team does something. It's a clever way to get your crowd geeked up for the game. And I don't know, Jody seems like the odds-on favorite. If nothing else, just honor her brother and say, well, this is how it's done. The owner raises the flag on Decision Sunday.
Has Junior ever done it? Because Mike McDonald said he'd have Ken Griffey Jr. do it every time. And I was wondering if Junior had ever done it, because
I don't know.
Fine.
I'm sure he has, but yeah, Junior'd be fine. Marshawn, Here's a controversial choice. It won't happen. What about Russell? Well, how would Russell Wilson be greeted Sunday if he came out and raised the flag?
Uh, it'd be mixed.
Yeah,
but it'd be mainly cheers. I think it'd be mainly cheers, but it would definitely be mixed a little bit. Hey, John Schneider won Executive of the Year. I don't know if you saw that yesterday.
I did, yeah.
Finally, and, I think I said that I think he's been the best executive in Seattle sports history. Now, a lot will depend on them winning this game and getting to the Super Bowl, but if he does that, he's going to have 3 Super Bowls, taking 2 different teams there. He's had one of the great drafts of all time, the one that got him Sherman and Cam Chancellor in the later rounds. Has made a couple of the best free agent moves in the NFL recently. Seahawks have had only missed the playoffs 2 years since he's been here, or something like that. Or had 2 losing seasons, one of which they made the playoffs. They had the Beastquake run. I think he's been the best, the best that we've seen at his job in Seattle. Do you think that's too much?
I think it's absolutely right. I mean, the only 2, when you said that, the only 2 I thought were, Garth Lagerwey with the Sounders had an incredible run. When they, he was the GM through all their championships. Okay. Then you get into, do you equate MLS with NFL? And I love MLS and I love the Sounders, but no. I mean, the NFL's the NFL. Pat Gillick had a pretty good run here.
Gillick
as GM, but no.
Bob Whitson would be the other one. Would be the only other one I would think, and but he didn't quite have that success with the Seahawks that he could have had. Schneider has done it both ways. He's done it with Pete Carroll, now without Pete Carroll, and this hire of McDonald is going to be as good as it looks, and I don't know how it could change from what it's been. That's one of the great hires that they've ever made, and he was involved with as well. So, it's I'm glad to see he got it and got that recognition. He deserves it, and it's just exciting, just waiting for the game to be played already.
There's a lot of thought, at first, he's going to want to go back to Baltimore, and I don't discount anything anymore in this way. It just seems so crazy. But I also think there's something to be said when a guy says, I'm putting my flag in the ground here. Yep. The only person I'm compared to here is me. That's it. There's not like I'm going to go in and someone else is going to say, well, you're not this. So I mean, it's always kind of romantic in any story to think about going home again and having great success. But there's also something to be said for saying, no, you know what? This is my home now, and this is where I'm going to have success. I don't think he's leaving here. And McDonald is just, he's been, again, we've talked about it. The check that Schneider wrote on his own account of, okay, I'm going to go into a power struggle with Pete. I'm going to win. Mm-hmm. And and look, he did have one thing on his side was that, Pete's expiration date had kind of arrived. Everybody loved Pete, but there comes a time when, okay, it's time for the coach to go. But now you look, man, if they come out and go 2-14 last year, we are not talking about John Schneider today as anything with the Seahawks. So it was a bold move on his part, and it worked. And I would agree with you. I just don't think anybody's even close to him now.
No, and he's written his ticket here for as long as he wants to be here. Now I don't see John Schneider going anywhere.
Yeah,
and I don't see Mike McDonald going anywhere either. I think that's why Baltimore went ahead and named a coach already.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean
they're not waiting for him. Why would he leave? Why would he leave what he's created here?
I saw a note this morning that did you see the rumor mill who's in Buffalo to interview for their job? Just came out this morning. Phillip Rivers. And I only laugh because the guy had it was so fun watching him. Like, well, this guy wants to be back in football, obviously. He's probably tired of being around all those.
That's not enough, apparently.
Yeah, he's tired of being around all those kids. He's like, if I get an NFL job, I got an excuse to spend 18 hours a day at the office and let my wife raise all those munchkins.
Crazy.
Yeah. So who knows if he'll get a lot of that move. It surprised me and it didn't. And, again, it gets lost in the shuffle. But boy, that Buffalo-Denver game was dramatic and unbelievable and kind of heartbreaking for Bo Nix at the end and heartbreaking for the Bills. I mean, geez, it's something. We talk about athletes crying in front of the media. And I mean, when it means so much, I think fans dig that, man. It means so much that you're breaking down talking about losing that game. It's there's nothing wrong with that.
I hope people aren't glossing over Bo Nix either.
Yeah,
he made the key play of that game on a broken ankle.
Right.
I mean, it was broken. I saw a teammate come over and try to hug him. He's like, don't touch me, man. And just, I mean, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And, Denver, I think, will ride a lot of momentum there. I don't think New England is as, they've been good. We'll see if they're the lock they look at. I think it's ironic, isn't it? The Seahawks will play the team they beat, they owe it to, or a team that owes them in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. That would play out if it plays out that way. But that was tremendous. It was too bad for Josh Allen, definitely, but it was a tremendous game. And the playoffs in the NFL always deliver. Period.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They do, and I think if they play the Broncos, they should have, as part of the pregame ceremony, they should have somebody snap a football right over Peyton's head, like the first play of the Super Bowl. Have Cliff Averill grab it and run into the end zone. Just reenact that play, and I love it. And you know what I love about this is that Cliff loves this. He thinks it's so cool that he's the fastest scorer in Super Bowl history. And you talk about a record that's probably unbreakable.
11 seconds, is that what it was?
I think it's like 3 or 4 seconds.
Oh, wow,
Maybe it's a little more, but it's more than it would take to run a kickback.
Right.
Or excuse me, less than it would take to run a kickback. So it's probably going to be there forever. And they could do that. Hey, would you like, before we get to our the Take 5 news desk here at the Puckett Plaza, would you like a quick quiz? You like geography quizzes? You're pretty well versed in geography, and this is just a guessing game, really more than a quiz. Left the Miami International Airport the other night about 7:10 in the evening and landed in beautiful Seattle at 11 o'clock. That's a 7-hour flight almost, 6 hours and 50 minutes. Groz, how many states or parts of states did I fly over on Monday night? And I'm not sure if this is the usual route. And it wasn't crazy. It's not like he went, way out of the way to miss a storm or something. So basically about as direct a route as you can go. How many states you think I saw from my window seat?
How about an even dozen?
Even dozen would be a great guess, and it would be wrong. And so would 13, and so would 14.
Damn it.
You got to get to 15.
Was he doing this?
I was like, what are we doing over Ohio? That doesn't make sense. No, you get most of Florida. You clip. I mean, you're over Georgia for maybe 4 minutes. You clip a little corner of that. You get a little bit of you get a pretty good chunk of Tennessee. I could go on and on. But anyway, it's 15 states that you hit on that flight. So I saw most of our great land.
How many times did you tell Renee that on the flight?
Oh, God. Plenty.
Hey, honey, number 7.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when number 8 comes up. I'll wake you up. Don't worry.
I told her I had to duck when I said this because I knew. We've done a lot here in the last few months, and then you add in the Mariner run, and our entertainment budget has been pretty well tapped. I said to her, hey, some of the gang, husbands and wives, are getting together, and we're going to get a bunch of tickets and go see John Mellencamp in Indianapolis for what they're thinking might be his last tour. Wouldn't that be fun? And she's like, we're not going. Not us. We're not getting on a plane and flying out to there. So, which is wise and good, because I don't think I'm not sure I'd take a flight to see you right now from Whidbey Island. I couldn't afford it. But yeah, 15 states. And now we get over to the marine biology desk to learn a little something about our favorite sea creatures. They've discovered something they'd never noticed before while studying reefs. These marine biologists are studying reefs.
Reefs?
And they've reefs, yeah. Not
Okay.
reefer, although they might have, but reefs. They noticed that octopuses, or octopi, both are acceptable. Octopuses have a habit of reaching out and slapping nearby fish. And they've watched this behavior, like is the octopus, is he trying to get food? Is he trying to get shelter? And they can't find any reason to do this. They've finally decided that the octopuses are reaching out and slapping fish, doing it for no clear reason other than boredom.
Well,
they said that they said we feel like we've opened a window into the hidden and funny lives of sea creatures. And I'm thinking, yeah, funny unless you're the fish. You're the fish. You're going over there. Wham! And hey, you bastard! You've got 8 arms. Stop! Bam! Hey, I said stop! Bam! God damn! Stop smacking me! The octopus is like, bam! Bam!
can't do anything about it.
Poor
There's
fish.
some more.
They're out there living a tough life. All right, man.
Hawks.
When we talk again, we'll be setting up the Super Bowl.
You betcha.